Hey guys, Eric here. Just wanted to share a little bit of something that I saw today about a notification that the FDIC, which is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, I believe, put out to their member banks. Now, this is the company that insures your deposits with those banks, and they put a notice out to the banks to make sure that the banks are updating and regularly looking at their agreements with their IT service and managed service providers, specifically in the areas of business continuity, which would be backups, how long it takes to recover from a backup, and also incident response. So when a security incident happens, what is the incident response plan that is put forth by that managed service provider? Now, of course, a lot of large banks have their own internal IT departments, so that would obviously be all internal to them. However, a lot of big banks and a lot of small ones too use outside vendors for part, if not all, of their IT services. So here's where I think this is important. The FDIC, because they're basically an insurance company, right? I think this is a precursor to what other insurance companies are going to start requiring from the companies that they insure in order to write policies and, more importantly, pay out claims. So some of the stipulations that they mention in here, especially around business continuity and security incident response, is making sure that the member banks understand that they're liable even if they have outsourced those responsibilities to a third party. Now, on one hand, that looks like it might be good for managed service providers because it kind of takes the spotlight of liability off of the managed service provider and puts it back onto our customer. However, if you have a contract, you still have a legal obligation to that customer for whatever you said you were going to cover. What I think this means is that more and more your customers are going to ask you about what the SLAs and things are around business continuity and what your contract covers in terms of security incident response. So if you're not writing those things into your contracts now, you probably need to start thinking about them. You know how I feel about contracts. I always talk about setting expectations, and that's what I think contracts are best for. Obviously, there's an amount of legal protection for both sides there. But I think the most important thing that a contract does, because hopefully you never get to one of those situations where you have to enforce a contract, right? Hopefully the relationship between you and the customer never has to resort to that type of procedure. So what a contract is best made for and what is most useful for is setting expectations with your customer. How is the business relationship going to work between you and that customer? What are they responsible for? What are you responsible for? So there's just not any questions later on. So when it comes to these highly important things of business continuity and incident response, you need to set out what the expectations are for those two things. And I think it's going to become more and more important. Insurance companies are going to be looking for this information more and more, and they're going to be requiring that their customer, which is your customer, hand over their contract with you in order to get a policy written for that type of business insurance. So anyway, food for thought. Please go ahead and comment down below, either in the YouTube video or in the Facebook link. Either one is great. I love continuing these conversations online. They're really important for us as a community to hash out. If you like this video, of course, go ahead and hit that like button. If you didn't like this video, please go ahead and hit that dislike button and let me know why. It's a data point. It helps me improve these videos. Then go ahead and click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks. Let's crush this thing. See ya.